Hi crafters, welcome back to another Halloween craft session. We already made a witch house, we made a crow, and today it's time for something very special. We are going to create our very own witch out of paper mache. Et oui, one of my favorite materials to work with. For this project, you don't need much, just some paper mache and a few worn out clothes to dress up our witch. What you will really learn today is how to mold paper mache and bring a character to life with your hands. First, you will need to prepare your paper mache clay or buy some ready-made. If you'd like to make it yourself, I have a video on my channel showing you exactly how, and of course you will also find many recipes online. One of my inspirations is Johnny Good, who I like to call the fairy godmother of paper mache. She runs the channel Ultimate Paper Mache and I highly recommend you check it out. I especially love her twist of adding joint compound to make the clay smoother. Personally, I often swap flour for cornstarch to avoid clumps and get a softer texture. Once your clay is ready, put it in the fridge for at least an hour before using it. Now, let's start building the skeleton of our witch. You can use aluminum foil or wire, but I prefer foil because it's easy to shape and gives volume. I begin with a small ball of foil for the head, then roll a coil for the body and shape the feet at the end. I add another coil for the arms and secure everything together. Once the human shape is ready, it's time to add some flesh. I cover the head with a thin layer of clay, and each time I need a new feature, I add a little more and sculpt it. The nose, the lips, the eyebrows, all are created with small coils or balls of clay, then blended in with the sculpting tool or simply with my finger and a bit of water. For the eyes, I press in a little cavity with the end of a pencil and insert black beads. For the mouth, I carve a small opening, then build lips with thin coils of clay, and of course because a witch should have pointy features, I give her a sharp chin and a long nose. Next, I add hands and feet to the foil body. I don't bother making every single finger, just a thumb and a shape for the rest, then I draw lines to suggest the fingers. Like in cartoons, my characters usually have only 4 fingers, it just looks nicer. The feet I shape like clogs because that's what witches usually wear. I also create little ears from coils of clay, making sure they stick out slightly from the head. Once the main features are dry, I add more clay to the body to form a shirt and pants, even though I'll later dress her in fabric. This way, if any part shows through, it will still look realistic. I paint the skin in a natural tone, being careful not to paint over the eyebrows, and already she looks alive. But of course, she needs clothes. I dig into my pile of outgrown clothes from my kids and choose fabrics that look good together. I make a long sleeve shirt and a dress supported by a wire cage to give volume. I add another dress, then make an apron out of fabric from one of my daughter's old clothes using the seam as a waistband. From the same fabric, I cut a rectangle, make a slit in the middle, and use it as a shawl to cover our shoulders. I stitch everything directly to the body so the clothes stay in place. Now for the hat, I cut a circle of thick cardboard for the brim and a cone from a cereal box for the points. I attach them together with masking tape, then cover the hat with fabric. For the hair, I glue on some purple netting, then secure the hat on top with hot glue and stitches to keep it firmly in place. To finish, I use markers to add shadows on her face, blush on her cheeks, a soft red color for her lips, and a touch of purple for her clogs and underpants. For the broom, I collect a small stick and tie pine needles around it with wire. I glue and stitch it to her hand so it stays in place. And voila! Our little witch is ready to light up my Halloween setup. I find her pretty cute. Don't you? If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my small channel grow and connect with other crafters. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to join me for more Halloween creations. I have plenty more coming your way. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, happy hunting!